Alright, game one is just about to start. I think that Jack lost the dice roll and Nick is going on his pirate ship to take us on a trip to Runick Lane.
I'm a bit worried that we're playing. I don't think we should have let you cast a match involving
Runick
deck, to be
Plunder Patrol. We have seen all kind of Runick mixtures, but this time it is paired up with the Plunder Patrol cards. But as per usual, we start off with activating Runick Quick Spell to summon out the Hugin. But do we have one of the cool Plunder cards to discard? We don't have just yet. We are discarding Galdala.
That's Kamungus.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
I know my spiders.
I realized that it is a kaiju.
Well,
but
yeah. Gardala's the insect, right?
Yes.
The 27 wind.
I mean,
insect.
to be fair, Kumongus is also an insect.
Okay. It's the wind one.
So Gardala probably isn't an insect then, right? I
Maybe
don't know. It's a kaiju. They all do the same. They all just take care of one monster on the opponent's side of the field.
Have you ever played Poor Kaiju? Because then you knew that they are not all the same.
Yeah,
and
right.
Gameciel is the one that negates everything.
Oh, Gameciel. It's not even once per turn as well.
Yeah.
Well,
It
let's
negates,
see.
banishes. Oh, all right.
Nick, oh, there is the Plunder Engine. Look, Jack is... for a second, he was leaning up in his chair because it was like, yeah, I'm probably going to play versus Runick Life Transpride or Runick for Hire, but then there was the normal summon of Golden Hair right there.
That one is pretty good. You can discard one card and then special summon it back out to the field.
And there is another kaiju being discarded. There's Radiant.
And now you might ask yourself, why is there Coral Dragon and Golden Hair, 2 tuners, on the field already? And we will know the answer soon. You won't get it from me.
I thought you were going to answer it. I think it's because he's going to perform a link summon
Oh, that would be crazy.
of Blackbeard,
Oh.
the Plunder
Is
something
there,
or other.
does Golden Hair lose its tuner? Oh, okay, yeah. That is
Blackbeard.
100% link summon.
Golden Hair
absolutely.
also locks you into Plunder Patrol
Oh,
monsters
you're
as well.
right,
So
true. But
I don't
this
think
is a pretty powerful Plunder monster he has just summoned there, because this is Blackbeard, the Plunder Patrol captain.
Look at his face.
You're talking about Blackbeard or about
Yes.
Jack Behrman?
No, not Blackbeard. I'm just happy about him. I love
Oh,
great
but that's
artworks.
it. We're going for Blackbeard Pass. But Blackbeard, of course, is a very unique way to interact with your opponent on their turn, because there's a quick effect in the main phase that lets you tag himself out into one of your extra deck monsters, but you can only special summon out monsters depending on the cards your opponent controls or has in their graveyards.
Yeah, so the attribute has to match
Yes,
something.
exactly.
So I don't think this is an ideal start for Nick. Normally you can make the pirate ship Jord, which gives your opponent a token of the attribute of your choice, and that way you can summon whatever you like with Blackbeard. But this way, Nick's going to have to wait. And unfortunately for him, he's playing against the... Well, I was going to say Altergeist for a second, probably just because I saw Jack. But in fact, it's Labrynth. And Labrynth, unlike most decks, is very happy to play its entire first turn without summoning any monsters. So this Blackbeard is just going to sit there looking a bit silly.
So, and also, Jack has a pretty strong start with the Prod of Prosperity. And those are a couple of nice cards. Oh, a lot of the Heavenly Prison specifically is a pretty nice card to have to protect stuff there as well, because we know that a couple of the Runick cards are just destroying. So you could save yourself from Runick destruction potentially, like right away.
Yeah, that's just everything already. You know, you get Skill Drain, you get some Engine, or you could just have the Ash Blossom, or protect all of your back row cards with the Lord of the Heavenly Prisons.
But it is the Skill Drain we are already preparing. So, as Tom just totally correctly, I just lost my ability to speak, already pointed out, we don't need to summon a monster here in Jack's shoes, and therefore we can just take the Skill Drain, set it, and chill for a turn. Oh, but there's Labrynth Kuklok.
Is it his one-off again?
That's not a chill, is it, Kuklok?
I mean, yeah, like it is the one-off indeed.
This is interesting because it does... I don't know if there are dark Plunder Patrol monsters, right? Because putting a monster in your graveyard here, I'm not sure Jack knows exactly what he's playing against, because if he was, you wouldn't so carelessly put a monster straight in the graveyard.
There's Plunder Patrol ship Merc, which you could summon out.
Because this just lets you freely use your Blackbeard when otherwise you wouldn't have been able to. Now, that might be worth activating whatever trap you want this turn, but...
The thing is, Kuklok is a quick effect, so he could have just set his cards and then activate the Kuklok in the end phase to do some stuff, but he decided not to do so.
Is Plunder... is Blackbeard...
Yeah, Blackbeard is main phase
phase
only as far as I'm aware. Oh wait, is it not? It's actually not, never mind. Okay, so that would have not played around it.
Oh, we're activating the Blackbeard here.
Yep, so now there is a Dark Monster. So the way it works is that Blackbeard itself goes to the Spell and Trap Zone, equipping itself to the card it's summoning out. And as we were just mentioning, this is the Plunder Patrol ship Merc.
And as a nice little bonus, you get to draw a card with Blackbeard.
Yeah, that's pretty nice indeed.
Oh, and Merc is absolutely insane. You get to discard one to banish a card, and then you get to search something?
That sounds good. I like the sound of that.
That sounds incredibly strong, but the problem is with those effects, if you can search something additionally, it can always be Ash Blossom. However, we have seen already that there were 2 Ash Blossoms on the bottom of the deck.
In addition, you would almost certainly want to Ash Blossom the Blackbeard himself, right? Because
Probably.
that would just stop your opponent drawing a card in the first place. Is it worth almost... I mean, I suppose you can't Ash Blossom in this
but
chain.
there's Lovely. Okay. Lovely being summoned.
Would you take this opportunity to chain a Runick spell of some sort? If Lovely's going to destroy?
Oh, but he is chaining the Merc, trying to banish the Lovely.
I think he discarded Patroll Shipwright, right?
That's
Yeah,
Bluebeard.
that looks like it.
Yeah,
He's trying to read a map.
for sure. But it's just Bluebeard. And Jack just double-checking, double-reading on Merc. That is not a matchup he's very familiar with. As I said, there are just way more popular Runick variants, but this is not the one you expect here at the European Championship. Oh, and there's also Flashing Fire right after.
I like this because Lovely is very difficult to interact with because your opponent can choose the card to destroy at resolution. But if you have a Hugin in play, all of a sudden it doesn't matter what your opponent chooses to destroy because the Hugin will protect anything and it doesn't activate, so you can just wait.
Yeah, that is indeed pretty cool. Looks like we also... Did we activate the Hugin to search too?
I don't know what he would have discarded.
You can't. This is all one chain, right? So this is Lovely 1, whatever what's the ship called? Merc 2?
Yeah.
And then Flashing Fire 3 to summon Hugin. Yeah, so I'm guessing Hugin's going to be banished before the end of this chain.
We did search a field spell though, but it wasn't the Runick Fountain, but we just added the Plunder Patrol Shipyard to our hand.
Shipyard.
Oh, that must be with
Really
Bran.
important.
So this will be resolving. I keep calling him Bran. He's not Bran. Bran's the other ship, I think.
I think it's Merc.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
Merc.
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 So we are adding the field spell to our hand. And there comes... Oh yeah, okay. So he wants to resolve the Lovely.
And it doesn't really matter what you point at, right? Because of the Hugin.
Yep, Hugin is definitely going to protect. Now the Runick Fountain is going to activate. And how many cards are in there? 2. There's Flashing Fire and Freezing Curses. Just a quick cut by Jack Verma, and Nick is going to replace those 2 with 2 new and fresh cards in his hand.
2 is more than enough.
Absolutely.
Casual draw 2 right here. How many cards does Jack have left? Because he invested quite a bit into this.
There's the Lord, and there's also the Lady in hand. So I think the Lady might actually be the last card he has left in his hand.
There is 1 card to hope to win this game with.
Which one is it?
Which one's your favorite?
Oh, okay, so you're saying there's only 1 more card he has. Okay, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. So, but there, first of all, is going to be the effect activation of Golden Hair. Once again, discarding another copy of Bluebeard.
The question is, do you now activate the effect of Merc again? I think it is not a quick effect in the opposing turn, but just a quick effect. So you could chain it to a skill drain, but if there is something else other than skill drain...
We know it's skill drain that was added off Prosperity.
Really?
Oh, true. He
so you
did
just
immediately take the Pot of Prosperity. True. Skill Drain was added like as a first action of the entire turn. It was so long ago, I
it's
also
always
forgot
easy
it.
to forget when it's like the first thing that was like 5 minutes ago. But
Yeah, and there's also Ash Blossom and Joy Spring now being normal. Pretty funny that he
just
also
part of
drew
the
into
Plunder
the
Patrol strategy.
Dogo run. He drew like all of the Kaijus there.
Are we going... I don't think we're going to Brun, because that is a level 8 synchro, which would
This
be
is
cool
just
because...
Blackbeard again here.
Oh, right. Blackbeard. Okay, let's get Blackbeard up here.
Blackbeard really the heart and soul of the Plunder deck, as is often the case with a new archetype. They often get a link monster which kind of ties it all together, lets you summon any variety of monsters from your extra deck and draw a card just for fun.
So now Blackbeard effect. Of course, we were able to use it on our opponent's turn, but it's just an effect that you can also use on your turn. And now Jack has decided it is finally time to use our skiller. And we even have Runick Distraction here. What an easy and quick answer that is.
Nice play from Nick there. I mean, you've got to remember that the Lord of the Heavenly Prison prevents your set cards from being destroyed, but once you've activated the skill drain, it's not set anymore.
Doesn't even activate the Merc effect to answer it, but just goes for the destruction because he can just get a draw off it after.
Yeah, and you can use Merc now off destroying whatever the Lord of the Heavenly Prison sets. This is all looking good for Nick.
Yeah, he seems very much in control here of this game.
Did he not try to draw from Fountain? I thought it looked like he was going to put the destruction under the deck.
It was chaining one Fountain, chaining two Lords, so
all right.
I think we're just going to resolve that first of all, and then Nick is also going to draw a card, which is pretty handy.
Yeah.
So, Jack just trying to decide what to set here. He does go with the Dogmatica Punishment. And once again, he's grabbing the Blackbeard. He can't believe what this card is doing for Nick because it keeps on adding resources for him. It keeps on giving him interruptions. And oh, and this is Plunder Patrol Booty. That is a really, really, really good card there. It's only a one-off, but it is very, very much super powerful.
And we are going to read it.
Because actually this card makes your Blackbeard even stronger because it enables you to change opponents' attributes for monsters on their side of the field. So you can basically say, hey,
wow,
this is now, let's say, a fire monster, and so you can special summon out the Brun, or you can do whatever you like, which is pretty cool. And that's only the one effect of the card, and the other effect is also pretty powerful, to be fair.
Yeah, you get to special summon or return to the deck of any Plunder Patrol monster.
Yeah, and look at that, exactly what he did. He actually made it the fire monster and used it to special summon out the Bran.
All right, and Bran is going to destroy the set card, and after that, search something or draw a card. I think it's right. They all search, right? Or do they all draw?
So we are getting rid of the just sad Dogmatica Punishment.
Add. This just destroys a spell trap and then adds a card. That's absolutely crazy.
It really is.
Yeah, all of Jack's cards have been picked off one by one.
Yeah, and we still have the Merc effect, if I'm not mistaken. So we can still banish the Lord of the field as well and get another search. And all of those Plunder Patrol cards do something when discarded, or most of them at least.
Seems like once this engine's rolling, it just seems to be generating so much advantage.
I think this is Black Eyes, right? The little birdie.
Which one are you talking to?
The one that he just added. Nick just got another search.
I'm pretty sure that was just another copy of... Wasn't it Golden Hair? Oh, maybe Ratbeard. It didn't look like a bird to me, but we will figure it out.
So he's using the booty again.
I mean,
Maybe
we only have used the effect of...
Oh, he passed turn, so it's Jack's turn now.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, and also, of course, the effect of Blackbeard.
I'm amazed by how much Plunder Patrol action we're seeing, because sometimes the Runick deck is really dominant, you know? So most of the action is being done by the Runick cards, but this is a lot of plunder here.
This time we've hardly seen a Runick card, have we? It's been all Plunder Patrols.
Maybe Liz?
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
Liz,
absolutely
yeah.
Liz, yeah.
Liz is, in most matchups, a very important piece of the Plunder Patrol arsenal, allowing you to discard a card to negate the activation of any monster effect. So that's, as you can imagine, pretty handy against most decks. Less so against the Labrynth strategy. Probably more important to have the spell and trap removal with the other ships.
Oh, but that leads to Jack Verma picking up his cards. So a Giant is not really starting off great here. And the local hero, Nick, is taking down game number 1 here with this Plunder Patrol Runick strategy.
Sorry, Sebastian, I'm just going to have to interrupt you for a second. If anyone would like to add some more loot to their own party, then I have another card reveal for you. Now, if you'd like to continue.
Absolutely, let's check out the side decks that we have here, because now Jack Verma will be in the much more comfortable position of going first, playing a trap deck, going first, matches up kind of well, and there are a couple of cool cards to bring in. Of course, maybe for the first time, Leo will finally be able to say no with the old man.
Yes.
Solemn Judgment might come in here. And then there's Heavy Storm Duster, also a pretty old card to be honest.
Yeah.
But one that seems like pretty decent in this matchup if there wouldn't be Hugin, right? Because Hugin can always just protect whenever this card wants to destroy something.
Also, most of the time the cards aren't really set. I mean, the Runick cards, but the Plunder cards, you could take away a lot of equips.
Yeah.
However, once they are equipped, the effect of the monster that they are equipped to becomes a quick effect, so you could just chain it to the Duster. So maybe this is not the ideal setup for
True.
a
I have a
Stone
feeling the
Duster.
Duster might be intended for the mirror match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most likely, absolutely. And,
Or Altergeist.
Then there's a funny card, Dimensional Barrier. Some people wouldn't say that it's funny, but in this matchup it's kind of interesting because what are you even calling? Because he has like all the different attributes or all the different summoning mechanics in his extra deck. Okay, now I'm specialing out a Synchro monster.
I
Now
can't
an Exceed
believe
monster.
You can't call Link monsters with
Yeah,
dimensional
that's
barriers.
pretty
It's just
unfortunate.
outrageous.
That's true, that's true. But so, not that much spice in the side deck of Jack, but let's see whether the spicy deck, the spicy main deck, can add more spice from the side deck. And yes, there's Interrupted Kaiju Slumber in there. Not
I'm
really
loving
the best card
I'm loving
versus
the way
Labrynth, though, right?
he's just fully leaning on this Kaiju package. I mean, we were probably noticing in the first game, we saw like two
Discard.
or three different types of Kaijus
Discard.
already. So I guess that's been included deliberately so you can play these Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers
For sure.
in the side deck.
Also
Yeah.
a really good discard, because after one turn has passed, you can just banish the Uninterrupted Kaiju Slumber, or Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Is it uninterrupted or interrupted?
is interrupted.
Interrupted.
It's
Yeah,
interrupted.
they've
So
woken
Kaijus
up.
are annoyed.
Yeah, if it was
Okay.
uninterrupted, the
Then-
Kaijus would just
yeah.
stay sleeping somewhere.
That is a really good point.
And then there's also a pretty interesting decision of him main decking 2 copies of Rivalry and then adding a third card through the side deck. How do we like Rivalry versus Labrynth?
I feel like that's going straight out.
Yeah.
So,
Straight into
we
the
have to
ocean.
get something in, though, and there's a card I really like, and it's Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion. You wouldn't think it's amazing on the first sight, but this card can actually be used to negate the activation of Big Welcome Labrynth, because that is also able to special summon from the graveyard. So I think that is a very, very certain side in this matchup for sure.
Yeah, easily. It's a very popular card because just sometimes against a very trap-heavy deck, they don't have a huge engine. So if you can just negate their first engine, they might just end up
absolutely.
with no monsters.
For
to summon.
sure.
But it looks like now the players are ready. Let's see if we can see another Plunder performance that was out of this world, or if we're going to see Labrynth dominate in Game 2.
There we have Jack, as we said this time, being able to start the action. So let's see what he's bringing here.
Do you think he's going for the big combo?
The big combo, set 5 pass.
Yes.
The classic Labrynth combo.
I think the classic Labrynth combo at this point is just going for Eradicator, right? Dinkabui in the finals of German Nationals has shown it to us, and the people are embracing it. It was the crowd going wild when Eradicator was used. And I mean, Eradicator generally versus Runick decks is a pretty good card to resolve.
He's already gone a bit off piece
Oh.
though. Normal summoning a monster and only setting 3 cards.
Odd, right?
I think he's going to need to consult his Labrynth flowchart.
To be fair, I almost thought that Ariana was really good with the Manadium deck, because she almost has the stats so you could special summon out the Meek or the Fearless. It's
Almost.
It's 1/5 and 2,100 for Manadium, but this
but
is 1/6.
Look at that. I think Jack is considering to do something here in draw or standby phase. And I mean, you could just use Big Welcome Labrynth here to get a monster onto the field that is big enough to tribute for Eradicator. But that is Dino Wrestler Pancratops by Nicky, and that is a strong start.
I'm loving Dino Wrestler just coming back in because a lot of people were, you know, saying you're old man Dino Wrestler Pancratops. Fenrir is the new hotness.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
no.
Oh, we just go into battle phase. Rare occasion of a Runick deck again having a battle phase, and Jack really has to think there. He does not like that, because if he has cards like Big Welcome Labrynth, he kind of has to use them now, because otherwise you would always have to bounce back the card you're summoning to your hand, and therefore that puts a lot of pressure onto him here.
Let's see if Jack is going with this plan that you just offered him. Yeah, absolutely.
He kind of has to. I do agree with this. Oh, and does Nick have the answer? He does! There's the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring right away. So he does not only have the Ghost Spells that he sided in, but also there's already Ash Blossoms in his main deck.
That's got to be very tough for a Labrynth player. You really don't want to see this card a lot.
For
That
sure.
strike?
Oh, but there's Solemn
Oh.
Strike to negate it. That is super strong.
It's been a while since we have seen a Solemn Strike onto an Ash Blossom, but when it comes down, it's really, really powerful.
I feel like Strike is being included in this deck specifically to deal with
Yeah.
Ash Blossom, you know. Because it's so annoying just to have your engine shut off by that one one-hand trap, so having Strike as a handy answer.
Oh, and we are bringing out the Lovely. And I mean, Lovely will immediately also force out the effect of Dino Resta Pancratops, because otherwise you can just destroy it, and you don't want that to happen. And therefore, it is kind of nice, because at least that interruption will be gone.
It looks like he's gone for Lady instead. Oh no, he's changed his mind. He's changed his mind.
Oh, he does
it is
go
Lady.
for Lady. That is very
It's
interesting.
interesting. I would have preferred the Lovely, but I mean, Jack knows what other card he's got set as well. Interesting, like Lovely, it's a bit of a trade-off, because you could force out the Pancratops. We could just let the Pancratops be destroyed, because if you do tribute the Pancratops, you are just going to lose a card in your hand as well, right?
But to be fair, maybe the set card we have here is just a card we're going to chain anyways to the effect of Pancratops or something like it. Oh wait, no, just like that, we actually protected our back row, because the Lady says that we can't target the back. Oh wait, we can't target the Lady, right?
We can't target the Lady.
We can't target the Lady because we have a set card. I for a second thought it's the other way around, but no, indeed, we just can't target the Lady now.
I'm thinking it's going to be very hard to resolve the effect of this Lady, because the Pancratops is just going to sit there until such a time as the trap is activated, and then you can chain whatever the trap is. You can just chain the Pancratops and target the Lady, and then you won't get to use the Lady's effect.
That's true. So Yugen going to use its effect, discarding Bestial Magnamut. That is a pretty tough card to discard, right? Because this card alone does generate so much advantage, so just giving it up as a discard for Hugin seems strange.
That is true, but for now there is not that much to be banished in this game entirely, not even on Nick's side. So I understand why he's discarding it. Oh wow, we are going
Back-to-back
for the
Ash Blossoms on both sides here, and that is a pretty good Ash Blossom as well, because we just invested 2 cards into that 1 card, and that got traded for an Ash Blossom.
I mean, when you say it's a tough card to discard, often to me it's a bit scary if your opponent's discarding like a good card.
Yeah,
that means the other cards in the hand
are
are
also amazing.
even better.
Is this Gold Hair that was just normal summoned?
No.
I don't think so.
That is not Gold Hair, but that is Whitebeard.
Whitebeard, yes.
The man with the white beard was just summoned, and it is being used to bring out Coral Dragon now.
Do you think we're bothering to use this? I don't think we're bothering to use this Coral Dragon effect.
I mean, first of all, we're definitely going to use the effect of Whitebeard, because that was just synchro summoned away. It did go from the main monster run to the graveyard, and therefore it will be able to use its effect.
Oh, that is a good effect.
Also, Coral Dragon is really nice with all of those plunders that trigger when they're discarded.
Yeah, I think we might as well see the on-field effect of Coral Dragon here.
It's pretty rare. Most of the time people are just like...
Yeah, absolutely.
Go to the graveyard,
rush
Coral
through it.
Dragon, give me my draw.
But there she is.
Gold Hair.
That is the Golden Hair, yeah. That is definitely her. It's interesting what Jack is holding onto there for that long. Like, what is the back row that he has there? Is it like Daruma Cannon? That could be pretty powerful, of course.
That would be a really big Daruma Karma Cannon.
Could also just be something like a skill drain, because there's just not been an opportune time to activate it, while the Pancratops has just been face up. I mean, it could be Gozen Rivalry, etc.
True, yeah. Yeah, Skill Drain actually makes sense. So we are not done yet. That is the typical play that we also saw multiple times in the first game. It is going to be the Black Beard that is being summoned as a Link 2 summon, and immediately the effect of Coral Dragon was also activated. And now, this time, there actually is a fire monster in the graveyard of Jack Verma already, and therefore we could just summon out the Plunder Patrol ship Bran, and we saw that that is a pretty strong one.
Yeah, especially if there is back row to be dealt with. However, if that back row could be activated before that, you would leave the Brun with nothing on field to destroy, and then you would actually not be able to search something off of it.
So instead, you think we might see the Merc?
It is a possibility that has to be considered.
So we are going for the Brun, though. Also, something that people might forget is that Brun does also boost all other Fiend monsters on the field by 500 attack.
All other Fiend monsters,
yeah,
so
all
it can't,
others.
can't
So
trash into
that would include the
thing.
Lovely. The Lady,
Yeah.
even.
That is
You control
actually
it, you
true.
control.
It's also main
Oh,
phase
is it you
2.
control?
Let's keep in mind.
Yeah, it's only you control. For a second, I was like, that would be quite a good thing for Jack right now. So, there is Brun. It doesn't look like Jack wants to use his back row just yet. And that would enable Nick to use the effect of the Brun to go after the back row. But first of all, we're just going to set a card here.
I'm struggling to see like what your opponent could have face down, such that the Brand destroying it is going to work out for you. like
So maybe-
discarding a card.
Maybe you're just waiting for your
Yeah.
opponent to activate the card, so you could potentially chain to it if it is like a continuous trap card such as Skill Drain or Ghost.
Yeah.
I kind of understand.
I mean,
yeah.
now you're opening yourself up for a possible battle phase attack onto the Braun.
It's a quick effect because it's equipped.
Yeah, that is true, but then you're forced anyway, so why not try and discard something and search something?
But let's again talk about how much pressure that Pankratops put on there, right? It's
Yeah.
still on the field, it is still to be feared, and now Jack wants to go after it by attacking over it. But that is Runick Slumber, and Runick Slumber will be protecting the Pankratops here. It will not be able to be destroyed by battle. That is huge, and that would also banish the top 3 cards of Jack's deck, and that is exactly what's going to happen.
Doesn't even enable a replay, so we are just running into this Pankratops, and Nick says, I do not care, this battle phase was wasted.
Yeah, that is a little bit of battle damage there, but not too much. I think Nick will be alright with this. And he still has that super powerful monster left on his field.
Yeah, Runick tired of just wasting its own battle phase. It's got to start wasting opponents' battle phases as well.
So at which point do you use Braun now?
You wait until your opponent sets a card. You're very impatient. Yeah, I know you
Fair
really
enough.
want to use it.
Fair
Same,
enough.
to be honest. I just can't wait for him to use Braun. I also want him to use Pankratops now. Let's just start to pop cards, please.
Jack is considering to activate. Okay, he's not. Okay, we're looking at Braun. Can this card destroy my face down card?
And
Yes.
it's just
See,
a
look, you
regular
two. If
Welcome
you'd
Labrynth.
activated that brand,
Oh, look at that. I mean, heads up play here by Nick, because by chaining the Pankratops right away... Oh, wait, he can't respond to it, right?
why not? You're thinking of Lovely, I think.
Oh,
Lovely
true, you're
says
right.
you can't respond
True,
with,
true, true.
with trap cards, yeah. Jack just pointing to the Slumber for some reason. I'm a bit confused. The Slumber doesn't negate any effects or anything
No,
like
it
that.
just says it can't be destroyed by card effects this
Yeah.
turn either, but that's not what's going to happen. So, very heads up, because the lady would have definitely been chained here
Yeah.
to set another trap card from the deck, but by immediately chaining the Pankratops, that is, of course, denied.
Maybe Jack thought for a second that the Slumber was activated onto the lady. But there was damage involved, so...
Absolutely not. So, Lovely is being special summoned here. And immediately on the summon of the Lovely, now Nick has found a target for his Bran. He wants to get rid of the Bran. Oh, wait. We are using the Lovely right away to send the Bran.
What's going on here?
How was he able to...
I'm not too sure about this either.
Because the monster did not leave the field because of a trap effect.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking as well. Uh-huh.
I'm kind of trying to figure out what was going on there.
Did Bran try and use an effect of something? Is it Bran's effect that sent it to the graveyard somehow?
Let me check. I'm going to get Braun up to you guys.
That is very... I mean, we will be able to figure it out somehow, I'm pretty sure. But there's now Lovely, there is Ariana on the field as
Was
well.
there a big welcome in the graveyard that could be used?
I mean, that would just
That would have put it
get
in the
back
hand,
to
though,
the hand,
right?
yeah.
That's true.
Oh, but there's Ghost Spell onto the graveyard effect of the Big Welcome Labrynth.
No, that was a
Oh, on
Kuklok
the-
discarded and then an activated Big
Yeah.
Welcome.
Ooh, so that's pretty rough, because that Ghost Spell there just took care of 2 cards once more.
Yeah, it's always... Kuklok is like a... It's very cool to accelerate your engine, but then the big downside is if your card is negated by an Ash or a Bell, it feels very bad because it's just straight up. You've lost 2 cards for just one of your opponents.
Yeah, both of these cards are just so powerful versus the deck, for sure.
How many cards do we think Nick is holding on to here?
Cannot be much more than 3 or 4, right?
Not too many, to be honest, but now...
So there's another
Wow.
Runick Slumber, but this time we want to special summon out.
Are we going to see a Fountain Resolve at some point? Because he needs at least 2 more cards in hand to discard 1.
I think we might as well just see another Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, right? Oh, but on the other hand, there was... Did we just discard Whitebeard again? That's pretty powerful. We again had the Whitebeard discard, which is huge. Oh, but this is also huge. That is Skilled Red that is being changed, and immediately Nick packs up his stuff, and therefore Jack equals the score, making it 1-1 between the Runick Plunder Patrol deck and the Labrynth strategy of Jack Verma.
And the people are celebrating in the
Yeah.
venue because, of course, Jack has quite a few fans,
Of
being
course.
a former German national champion and one of the best players we have in Europe.
Absolutely. he has been on such a consistent level. And I've talked about it before. He's such a unique player because usually some players decide on some kind of a play style. You're either a combo player or you are a control player. But as we said earlier, Jack had really big success with such a big combo deck such as the Lightsworn back in the day. As the Lightsworn deck with Nerva and everything. But also, of course, he was the German national champion with a good old Altergeist strategy. He's playing Labrynth now, so he can just switch back and forth, and that's just so unique, and that's such a great ability to have as a Yu-Gi-Oh player.
And he's playing those decks to perfection all the time. I mean, winning nationals with Altergeist was huge. Him playing Lightsworn, him watching play Lightsworn, that was
so
just
fun.
fantastic. He played games. I don't know, he had like so many outs. I remember him watching one time. I'm going very far with this, I realized just now. He played versus True Draco, and there was Masterpiece everywhere. Masterpiece couldn't be destroyed by battle, couldn't be targeted by anything, and he still found a way with his 60 card decks. It was absolutely crazy. You guys cannot relate to this, of course, because you haven't seen the match. So I'm going to stop talking about this, but Basti, rather inform our viewers about the side deck.
Yeah, so of course now Nick has a different side decking plan. I do believe Ash Blossom and Joy Spring and Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion are still going to stay in the deck because those are just too powerful versus the Labrynth strategy. But besides that, I think I saw that he was also side decking his extra deck, like he re-sleeved some extra deck cards. Therefore, I do believe Moonin the Runick Wings will find its way into the extra deck, which is a pretty good card to have, which also protects from targeting destruction. So that's a good card versus, for example, Dogmatica Punishment and stuff like that. So I can definitely see that this card being put in. And I'm not sure, but there's also Bestials, and Bestials are okay-ish versus Labrynth. They are not amazing, though.
He definitely had... He discarded a Magma
was
at the
in, right?
beginning.
Yeah. So I think we are still going for some of those cards because Rivalry and that kind of stuff that you normally want to have in for going first, we already mentioned, is not really going to do the trick here at all. So we will have to see how that turns out. And
I feel like normally when you're playing Runick decks, people take the time to really lean into their main engine when they're going first. So you've seen people like occasionally deciding like more Sprite cards when they're running the Sprite Runick variants or something like that, just to like really lean in. So maybe we'll just see something like quite simple, like just side out all of these going second cards, side out the rivalries, put in a few useful cards and call it a day.
And I think one thing that is going to be important here is whether Nick has any kind of idea or information on the fact that Jack Verma is playing sphere modes in his main deck, because that might be a win con for Jack Verma to just play into the sphere mode by summoning 3 or more monsters, and that could be very, very, very hurtful. Another card that you should definitely play around versus this deck is Super Polymerization, which is another card that is so powerful in this Labrynth strategy, and it's basically in every Labrynth deck at the moment and also in his deck.
And now I'm going to activate interrupted Basti monologue because the players are ready for game 3, so we are going right to the table. Rarely happens that Basti actually laughs about my joke, so I'm really happy about that one.
I really thought that was funny. Gotta give it to you.
But I was gonna say earlier, Super Polymerization, Sphere Mode, fantastic cards going second. However, do you remember the end field of game 1 of Nick?
It wasn't
Blackbeard.
that impressive.
Blackbeard pass. Yeah.
I do agree. So that could be a way to play around those kind of things. Runick Fountain being the first card to be activated here in game number 3, the all-deciding game number 3, and the Runick Destruction is just following after.
He found the 2 off.
I feel like Nick is hoping probably for a little more than Blackbeard pass, but I mean, it did work out in game 1, so maybe it'll work out again.
So we are summoning out the Hugin. It looked like for a second that he was considering to summon out the Moonin, but I don't know what he was about to do with that. Oh, and it's going to be Fountain for 1. That is pretty much a little bit of an indicator that his hand is not that strong, because he had no good discard for the Moonin, first of all, and then second of all, he also did not have additional Runick cards he could activate to maybe try for a draw too.
Do you think that means there's a second Fountain? Because I couldn't imagine like not just discarding a card and...
I mean, especially because Golden Hair seems like a reasonable discard, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think having a second Runick Fountain here isn't too unlikely. but he's really considering it. In all 3 games, and also also in this game, we see Coral Dragon being summoned. Oh, and you mistakenly thought he had that earlier, but this now is Black Ice, the Panda Patrol Sea Guide. So he will be able to special summon out and also add the card from the graveyard to hand. So Golden Hair
is insane.
Yeah, will find its way into the hand. And once more, we will just have 2 monsters on the field, which then can go into the good old, the almighty Blackbeard.
It special summons itself and adds back a card from the graveyard. This is immediate
It's
plus
nuts.
1.
It's nuts.
Crazy.
And also Coral Dragon will just draw you a card now as well. So after starting off pretty poorly, that looks like a pretty decent catch up there by Nick.
Do you think Jack maybe this game will not put any monsters on the field on his
Oh,
first
but
turn?
no back row
let's
at
go.
all. No back row at all. He does play around Super Polymerization and Sphere mode.
He doesn't need the back row. He has it in his hand. He has Fountain on the field.
Oh, but there's Prosperity. That's nice.
Do we Ash this? I mean, if we have Ash, we are almost certainly always going to Ash the Prosperity. Maybe you want to keep it for a Welcome Labrynth, though?
The thing is,
it's difficult here.
yeah, it definitely is difficult.
Especially versus the Labrynth variant with the furniture pieces, because
Oh,
they
there
sometimes
is the Ash Blossom.
there it
Question
is.
answered. We do use Ash Blossom on the Prosperity. So what's left for Jack Barrymore? Is there going to be a monster? As soon as he summons a monster, that will enable the Blackbeard to use its effect. So he should really think about it.
I can understand ashing the Pot of Prosperity. It basically excavates half of your deck, so
Yeah,
you
I
was
can
gonna
just
say.
pick any card you want.
It almost adds any card you want, including the Welcome or the Big Welcome, so you might as well just Ash and not let those hit the graveyard. I'm seeing a lot of... I can't see exactly, but I feel like I'm seeing a few monsters in Jack's hand.
I also
Yeah.
saw that.
This is
for
one
a
of the
quick
very
second.
few situations where you really don't want to open Ariana, right?
Totally not.
Oh, and I think the traps in his hand are Solemn Judgment and Welcome or Big Welcome Labyrinth, and now we have Ariana on the field.
Oh, and
already.
immediately, the second there is a monster on the field, of course, we're going to chain the effect of Blackbeard. We are bringing out the good old Plunder Patrol ship Merc, and that provides us with another card we can draw because of the effect of Blackbeard.
He's just hitting the Merc button instantly. And this card just generates so much advantage. Discarding something to banish something as a quick effect is already crazy. But then being able to add something as well is really hard. But we have seen so many monsters in the hand of Jack, so maybe there is an Ash Blossom that can be used on one of those monsters effects. However, 3 sets now.
Do you think he's got a Plunder Patrol
Oh,
card?
there's Smiting
Smiting
Storm.
Storm.
Do we use Smiting Storm to summon here, or do we just want to banish 4 cards from the top of Jack's stack?
If you...
I think he is counting, right? I think we are actually going to banish here.
Yeah, if you hit, like, the lovely Labyrinth, that can be really annoying.
Oh, for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I mean, the most important part about this activation is, of course, the fact that you can then activate the Runick Fountain to draw you into more cards.
Maybe he's got a second one. He's not drawing yet.
Oh, Merc is going to be used here too, discarding the Golden Hair that we added back with Black Ice.
I love Merc so much. This is such a crazy card.
Absolutely,
You
yes.
seem to be having a lot of fun with these pirates.
Yes.
Yeah. He's happy like a little boy here.
Actually,
And we are searching for the booty here again.
in my scientific researches for university, I worked a lot on pirates, so I'm really excited about this.
Finally pays off.
It makes you an expert in the Plunder Patrol archetype.
Not really.
So, oh, and we have Destruction
Wow,
as
that
well.
is
That is
huge.
so huge.
That is really
definitely the Runick card he wanted to have left. And he goes for the middle back row.
I'm going to ask you a
that's
question here. What do you think of not... we see a lot of players just roll a dice to randomly select one. What do you think of just going for it?
It's confidence.
It's confidence.
It's confidence
It's
to just
power.
go for it.
Oh, but there is the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Oh, no, it's... Oh, okay. It looked like Lord of the Heavenly Prison for a second, but it was the Lady. Oh, and there is a Lord of the Heavenly Prison, but it's just being banished.
That is the second time that the big welcome has been in the middle. I don't know if Jack shuffles his sets before he sets them or just...
Maybe he picked up on that, actually.
Maybe he has a
Nick
system.
picked up on it.
It's, I was always of the school. People would always tell me that...
But now there is Big Welcome in the graveyard, so we can
Wow.
chain its effect to put the Runick Fountain back to the hand of Nick, meaning he can't draw 2 cards, and that leaves him with 2 Runick spell cards in the graveyard and potentially no more gas.
That was really unfortunate. We thought the destruction was huge to take away the field of Jack already, but it just denied him 2 cards.
It's a very tidy line, because I'm not going to lie here, I always thought Big Welcome had to target monsters.
Absolutely
I had no
not.
idea you could bounce a...
So, golden hair now for Nick,
very cool.
discarding. That looks like Whitebeard to me. That is a pretty good discard once more. That is huge here for Nick. He gets even more into his Plunder engine. But the question is, does he have another Runick quick play spell? Because if he doesn't, those Runick quick plays in the graveyard will be there sitting in the graveyard doing nothing pretty much.
We know he doesn't, because he's only got 2 left. And one is the Plunder Patrol Booty and one is the Fountain, right?
True,
But those are 2 level 4 monsters. One is a tuner, one is not, and you know what that means. It's not Bran, okay.
It's Plunder Patrol Ship Yort.
Do you know what that
Latest
means?
addition to the deck.
Apparently, I do not.
Oh, but there's...
Oh, no,
I
that's
think he's
still
going
the
to
wrong
discard Magnamut again, so there was an unknown card left in his hand.
Oh, okay. I was talking nonsense.
I
I
mean-
could only see 2, but yeah, maybe he's just hiding it from us.
So, definitely worth of reading up on the Yort.
Same.
So I think now it gets interesting, because does the Golden Hair lock Nick only from... Like, you can only special summon Plunder monsters for the rest of the turn, right?
I think so. I think a lot of them have this effect.
Oh, and there's Solemn Judgment being used on that. So Jack is giving up half of his life points. And that is pretty crazy there.
What was that? Discard Magnamut, draw a card?
Oh, wait.
What just happened there?
Did he use it?
I think that was still the effect of the... sorry.
Oh, and he
Oh.
picked up the Runick
Wow,
tip
even
there.
the tip. Oh my.
Oh,
that
and
is
Jack looks
absolutely
up. He
huge.
hates this, but what can you do? But it looks like Jack did not use Solemn Judgment, right? Because he's still on 8,000 life points.
I'm pretty
No,
sure.
I think he did use
Oh
the
yeah,
Solemn
there it is.
Judgment.
Okay, now he's down to 4,000, and that's super unfortunate. Runick tip banishing another card. Time running down. Only 4.5 minutes left. Nick now with double the life points that Jack has.
Oh, that's also huge. Also, I think the draw one and discard the Magnamut was the blue
Yeah,
beard
that was
graveyard
what I was
effect.
going to say, yeah. Exactly. Because you still get the effect even if your
Yeah.
summon was negated.
And then picking up the tip is crazy.
Wow, that's so good. There's the
Wow.
destruction we searched, but we can chain the Welcome Labrynth. Jack just quickly does so.
Oh,
And
what do
does
we
Nick
have
have a
here?
response? Oh, we
Yes,
are
he
chaining
does.
the Merc, of course.
Gotta love the Merc.
Chaining the Merc so that the lady can't set another trap, banishing it immediately.
Nick really knows what he's doing here. He is picking apart Jack's field. Of course, there was this crazy draw of the tip, discarding the Magnamut that really wouldn't do anything. But now, Jack is just there with like an Ariana.
Yeah, it's looking pretty awkward for Jack. I was thinking like this Solemn is actually going to be quite painful
Yeah.
because obviously, as we know, the one thing about Runick decks is they don't get a battle phase. So without this Solemn Judgment, I couldn't imagine Jack of taking any damage.
Yeah, it would have been hard. Like,
with
the
only-
only way would have been Moonin, but he couldn't summon Moonin anymore because he was locked into Plunder monsters, and therefore that would have not been the case there.
So with
Oh,
only 3 minutes left. It may have this life point difference may
it's
be
a costly
decisive,
decision. So
yeah.
I think Jack made the decision of actively trying to win this duel instead of waiting it out, and I like that. He plays his heart out here, and he wants to win this match in some way.
And here comes the booty from Nick activated here.
So as we know, we can not only change an attribute, but we can also special summon out a monster. And there's Flashing Fire as well. And I mean, at that point, it's worth getting rid of big monsters.
And how are you going to come back from this as Jack? Because now Nick is just in both of his engine. He can just search cards freely. He can draw cards more and more and more. He has a defensive lineup on the field in Merc.
And that is also a quick effect on the opponent's turn, of course. Whitebeard brings out the list here.
Yeah.
That is so huge. Oh, Jack was about to draw another card for turn, but he did that already. We are in Jack's turn already, and therefore no more cards to be
I'm
drawn.
interested that I've seen an Ash in Jack's hand. I'm wondering what he's using it, holding it for.
That is another Ariana. We are
And
chaining
this
a
is
list.
immediately negating this Ash Blossom. This is what I've been talking about. And we have the Freezing Curses as well. You can negate the effect of the monster Plunder Patrol extract monsters. with an Ash Blossom because they always also surge. And now Jack is just frustrated now after this freezing curses. This was way too much. He has to think of a possible rank 4 play. Can you go for a Zeus line?
Does he have an Exciton Knight in his extra deck or something silly?
I am just going to check that. There are no Exceed monsters at all in this extra deck.
You need some fusion monsters in this deck, and Chaos Angel, of course, as well.
That is true. That is rough. Very, very
that is
strong
another
stuff
Merc.
here from the local hero, from the Dutchman, Nick Devlin, really piloting this well here with the rogue strategy.
And he just keeps going here. We are summoning out the Whitebeard as well, turreting the Ariana with the booty, and now we are going to have the Jog.
Jord was added back to the extra deck, yes.
Yeah, that's Jord. Jack just down
Norman
to
summoned
nothing.
Ghost Bell now. That hurts, like, watching him even have Ghost Bell as well. That would have been another interruption, but he just doesn't even use it as an interruption. He can just normal summon it and use it as a link material for the Blackbeard.
Wow, we are plundering really hard here on Nick's side. There is the Jaw just again. How are you going to break this field on Jack's side? This Solemn Judgment cost him 4,000 life points. To be fair, if he hadn't used it, there would have been a better phase for Nick because he probably wouldn't have to use all of those Runick cards to get back into this game.
And there's
That's a good
still
point.
Runick tip as well. Like, I think Nick at that point, if the game wouldn't be over in 30 seconds, could decide whether he wants to deck out Jack or whether he wants to out-control him and just out-grind him in some way. He is definitely doing very well here.
That is just such a fantastic performance here. I'm really excited to see Plunder perform like this because this is looking massive. This is looking like it can really, really compete. Oh, another Smiting Storm. We're getting rid of 2 more cards.
There is the lovely. At that point, it does not even matter, but usually that's a fantastic banish versus the Labrynth strategy.
Now we are going to see the timeout being shown here. Jack is at 4,000 life points. Nick is at 8,000. Jack packs it up and Plunder Patroll Runick wins this round 8 of the European World Championship qualifier in Europe.
And the crowd loves it, of course. Always people love it when rogue decks go deep in the tournament. He's now a 7-1, impressive score, and I can't wait to see more from Nick, honestly.
That was hype, wasn't it? Just seeing like Plunder Patrol, Runick, just one of these other Runick strategies we saw at London, obviously the breakout of the Fur-Hire Runick deck, and maybe here we see at the European Championships, Plunder Patrol Runick.
Honestly, I've said it multiple times before for previous events. I've not always followed up on it, but I think I'm going to play Plunder from now on.
Yeah, same. I almost regret shaving my beard for this event because that would have been really cool to also be a Blackbeard here. But that was just simply amazing. I mean, we have seen the deck in some tournaments before, but it had never had this crazy success. But that was massive.
That was great, seriously. He's in a great position as well to just make it to the top cut because he's now X1. Only 1 more round to be played for this day, and then tomorrow there's 2 more to be played. With a score of X2, he should be pretty much secured to make it to the top cut, so he only has to win 2 out of 3, basically.
That is true. No promises, though.
I was going to say, many people have been there, and, you know, 2 out of 3 people will do it, and 1 out of 3 people won't do it, which is still quite a high number.
33%, if my math is correct.
Yeah, 1 out of 3.
Pretty easy, I guess. So, yeah, of course, this is not a deck you would expect to win the European Championship just before the weekend. But now that we saw it, I think it is one of our contenders, one of the decks we would like to see go deep in the tournament. I'm pretty sure you at home also would love to see that. But let's hear it from the man himself, Nick. And Ed, please take it away with the winners